Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
See, this is what happens when Steffi G doesn't pick out the legit music. You gotta go to Gloria. Sorry, Gloria.
I wanted you to do Paulina Rubio because she's gonna be on the.
Well, next week we for sure.
Okay, we
gonna be pumping the Paulina Rubio.
Okay, yeah.
Rubio.
I feel like we need to get to the hook. Okay, we won't.
Is this the whole thing, kind of?
Yeah. Is it?
Well, here's the drum break. Go.
I could be Sheila E.
Nando, go.
Nando. Go. All right. Air drums. That's not what we're doing tonight. Okay, so thank you, Nando.
People at home are like, okay, let's go. Let's get to the show.
Right, they're like, get to the
Fast
show
forward.
already. Get to the show. So this is AFTERBUZZ TV, and we are talking about Jane the Virgin, Chapter 8. We thought it was the last episode, but it's actually not the last episode, and I'm so excited because this episode made me want to see what's happening next.
Yes, me too. But here's the thing that I'm afraid of.
Don't be afraid.
Is that this episode ended on such a high, made me so happy. I'm so scared the next episode is either going to leave me hanging, which it will.
It will.
Or it's going to make me really, really mad.
Because you can't wait till January. You already said you can't wait till January.
I can't even wait until next week. Not having Jane for a week last week.
I know.
I went nuts.
Yeah, I did.
You did this thing too. We both watched the whole thing over again with our
moms.
moms.
Not the funniest. We both watched all of the episodes. That's what I did for Thanksgiving. Like after I ate all of the food and had all of my turkey, me and my mom watched Jane the Virgin, like the episode 1 through today.
Yeah. And now my mom's trying to get my dad into it.
That is so cute. We didn't even introduce ourselves. So who are we? I am Madison Chase, your trainer to the stars and the star in you, because I feel like everybody's a star. You just need me in your life to help you strategize on how to live a healthier life and make healthier choices. And one of the choices that I've made is that I'm also a virgin.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do this show. And so I'm a voice of virginity.
I know, especially in this episode.
Yes.
Well, Madison, I'm so happy to have you in my life.
Yes.
And to all of you home, I am Giselle Ugarti. I have my Santa sweater on today because I thought that this was going to be the last episode of the year. So maybe I'll outfit repeat next year or next week.
Okay, it's okay. Maybe you can add like some earrings and like a little reindeer something sparkly
else
on the top.
Sparkly, but clearly I'm in the holiday spirit.
Yes, give us suggestions on what we should wear for the season finale, I think. I like that, Giselle. Okay, so let's get into it. Every episode, Chapter 8, whichever way you want to call it, they always start with like a flashback. So this flashback, Jane and Xiomara and her grandmother are at the table and they're talking about parking tickets and not going to court. And I love how Abuela kind of glances, grazes, kind of misses a whole lot of things that she doesn't really want to say. And I think that's so smart. I think being a parent, you sometimes don't want to expose your children to too many things that are adult things. So she did what any good parent would do, which is, I'm not going to tell my daughter about going to court.
Right.
You know, parking tickets are one thing, but court, and that we find out later at the end of the episode why she doesn't say anything about the real reason.
Well, and I think probably, at that point, Jane was really young. And when you're young, that's when you don't really understand the whole confidentiality thing and how important it is. And you're kind of talking to your friends at school, like, oh, my grandma said this, or, and I feel like maybe that would be something else.
That's a good point.
She was afraid of telling Jane about or just the fact that, her grandma and her mom, that's all she has. Yeah. So the idea even that her grandma could not be home one day when she comes home from school, which is kind of how it happens with, deportation is, it's just bye, no chance to say goodbye, no chance to grab your things. It's just like, all right, you're going.
Wow.
That's it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Really serious topic. And we didn't know where it was going either.
I didn't either. I didn't know. Because she talked about her, I guess, abuela's husband. And do you think that story was real? That he was a rich guy or in oil, Venezuelan oil?
I do. Especially since, abuela's not really the type to make a lot of stuff
I
up.
got you.
And
That's
I feel
true.
like you can usually tell. And I think you could see her eyes were really genuine when she said, he left it all for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that it was love. And because he, said, let's start a new beginning, let's start a new chapter together.
Yeah, together.
I'm curious to know what happened.
Me too.
Did they get separated because of immigration and that's why she's so paranoid? Did he pass away? You know, what happened? But it still was, something special. And I think it's also nice that they mentioned it because it's a very relevant topic to what's happening in the world today with immigration.
Yeah, especially. I agree with that. And it's interesting when you're not involved in something, how you don't really think about the perspective of the people that actually go through immigration.
Yeah.
And deportation. Like, I never would have thought, oh, yeah, you don't get a chance to say goodbye. Like, that would be horrific for anybody.
Mm-hmm. But then I also wonder, then wouldn't that mean that maybe Xiomara isn't technically legal too?
But I think if you're born here, right, then you're
now,
technically.
Yeah, now it's that way. But I'm just wondering.
But it wasn't that way.
I don't
possibly
know.
when we're going all into
who knows? Anyway, back to the show. Let's try not to overanalyze.
Yeah,
we'll overanalyze about the drama.
Right. Okay.
Not about the legality.
I was like, wow, that's really serious. Okay.
Deep.
Like that.
I'm sure people on YouTube will comment and they'll let us know what the scoop is on that. So we love you guys.
Yeah, thank you. So then we skipped to 2 weeks ago, which is, at the end of episode chapter 8. Jane is actually waiting for Rafael. Oh, that really, that broke me up. I was like, she is like waiting. And I didn't think, like, I saw it going somewhere else when she was like stood up. Like, she was beautiful. This would have been their first real date.
That dress.
The dress is gorgeous. Whoever the stylist is, she's
on point.
She is on
Hopefully
point.
we'll have her.
She is incredible.
studio.
Like, everything is like, I'm like, I would wear that and that and that and that. Okay, so I would totally wear that dress. Would you wear that
Black
dress?
Halo.
Yeah.
I found out.
Is that who
that's
that
how much I
is?
love that dress.
You really looked it up. Okay, maybe we should get that for the last. You're going to get that
For next
dress.
week?
Yeah, for next week. And then I'm going to get Petra's white shirt from BCBG. Yeah, you already knew what it was. Okay, so she's waiting.
Oh, and really quick, she just tweeted me, Steffi G is sick today.
Yes,
we wish that she
sorry.
could be here. She sounds awful, but I know that you're at home. We love you so much. And thankfully we have another episode next week, so hopefully she'll be with us.
She'll be back. She'll be better.
Yeah, so if you're on Twitter, send her some get well wishes.
Please, and some zinc and some ginger.
Some besitos.
Yes.
Kisses.
Besitos.
Kisses. Little kisses.
Oh, little kisses. Okay, I like that. That's cute. Thank you. You just taught me a word. Okay, so she's waiting for Rafael, and he calls her. At least he called, because I would have been done if he didn't even call her and be like, hey.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Because he didn't call for something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
Remind me about that point later.
See, I'm clearly still bitter.
Yeah.
Even though he's forgiven.
Don't
So
be bitter.
we saw that he said he was going to Mexico. We didn't know for what.
We didn't know for what. And I was like, is that really an excuse? But we found out later why he had to go to Mexico.
Looking for the sister.
Looking for Louisa. Get it together, girl. Louisa.
Lachlan and Petra.
That's a whole other conversation.
Conniving duo.
Yeah. So I didn't think, after I saw that episode and he stood her up, I thought that it wasn't going to work out. Like, she was going to be mad. So it turns out that he told her the reason why. Because I didn't know, because the dad was a little harsh in delivering the message, like, you're fired. That I just knew that he wasn't going to tell her.
Right.
I was confused. So I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did, that it wasn't like a huge fight.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
that comes later.
And I didn't think that there was going to be disappointment between the two of them. If anything, I was afraid that there was another secret that he had, like a family business, maybe a sin rostro thing.
Or his mom. I think we said that the last time.
Or his mom.
Or, yeah, because we've never seen his mom.
But we also learned, and I guess I didn't really realize that she didn't know, that his shares, in his sister's medical malpractice thing, he never told Jane about that.
Yeah.
So when he was concerned about the sister's lawsuit thing, it was more of like a brotherly thing. It wasn't a you're suing me thing.
Right.
And so I definitely did appreciate that, he called, and then we see that they're still missing each other. They're still talking, and she's being understanding about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. We also see, because the last thing we saw was his dad saying you're fired, and we didn't see why.
Why? Yes. And, they did show that. Yeah.
And so we find out that, Petra and Lachlan have, told his dad
Conniving.
about, what, Rafael was doing with the shares or, with the assets on the lawsuit. And that's just
conniving.
Yeah. Not surprising.
No, it's definitely not surprising. Okay, so she kind of has an opportunity. So he takes her to his suite or whatever. I don't know if this is the part of it, but that's what I have written down.
Yeah.
And so he's kissing her. And
he gets back. He doesn't find Louisa.
Yeah, he doesn't find Louisa. Mm-hmm. So he gets back and he calls her, and he takes her up to, I guess, the penthouse.
Room. Yeah.
And she's dressed so cute, and she's actually showing. I thought that was the cutest, sweetest thing in the world. I was like, oh, her little baby bump is showing. So he notices, and I'm sure.
And I died.
Yeah. I was like, oh, and he was so excited. But then he starts kissing, and then they start kissing, and then he was like, maybe we should take this to the
bedroom. See, here's the thing, though, is that at that point, I wasn't even concerned about the fact that she was still a virgin. I was just thinking to myself, if I was in that position, I'd be like, we're in your home with your ex-wife. I wouldn't want to go to the bedroom anyway.
Because
just
you
knowing.
have just been in that bed. But then it's a penthouse at a hotel, so they obviously changed the sheets on a regular. I mean, I'm just saying. But I get you. Like, that's your place with your crazy, manipulative.
Yeah, like at least go to like the other penthouse.
Right.
Or get like the cottage and like start something. I'm so weird about that stuff where like I'd want like a whole new bed, like brand new sheets and like different mattress. Just start fresh.
Like, but I think from a virgin's perspective, like you're not even thinking like, oh yeah, you were just here with like, because Jane in her mind, I know where she was thinking. She was like, this is not even going to happen. I would have been like, look, I'm pregnant and I'm just
not feeling well.
Yeah, I'm not feeling well. I would have blamed it on the baby. I would have not even,
So as a virgin, what do you think about her mom and, saying whether to be upfront about it or do you wait a little while? Like, how do you bring that up in conversation?
You know what? That is always a tricky conversation, right? When I ask my guy friends and I'm like, hey, would you want a woman that you're dating, that you're interested in, to tell you initially? And from a man's perspective, of course they want to know initially. But I feel like, and I've said this a million times, that when you meet somebody for the first time, you don't talk about the things you do, the things you like, the sexual positions. You don't talk about that initially. So why should I talk about the things that I don't do? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about the particulars. Do you like anal sex? Do you like head? Do you like fellatio? Like, we don't do that. Pause, pump your brakes. So why should I say, because I feel like it kind of, it doesn't give you the opportunity to really get to know the person. Mm-hmm. Because, like, even now, like, it's still a little premature. Like you don't even know, like, how she likes to kiss, really, or you don't need, there are a lot of things that you don't know.
It has been, like, 3 or 4 weeks.
It's been 3.
And they've had a lot of those, like, up all night talking. And he's been gone. You're right. And I feel like when you're doing the long distance thing, you end up getting closer because you're on the phone a lot.
That's true.
But I agree. I feel like it is something that you should wait a little bit, or at least wait until, you're in person, think about it. Unfortunately, they didn't have that choice.
That's true.
Because she had the appetizer sent to the table.
Oh, yeah. Now, that was funny. Okay, I guess we could go ahead and talk about that. So they actually go on a real date, and I thought it was interesting, too, that they didn't really kind of show, like, normally you want to see the guy pick you up.
Yeah.
You want to do, the whole outfit. But They didn't show that. But so they're sitting at the table, and I guess a couple actually sends them an appetizer or something.
Which is so good.
An entree.
I try to choke dip.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm
do
just putting
too.
that out there.
Man, it is
Anything
good.
with cheese and
yes,
tortilla
from
chips.
Houston's, it is the best. Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh my god.
Maybe we'll go there.
Yes, it is so good. Okay. They have spinach artichoke crab, which is really good. Okay, I'm sorry. We're hungry.
I am now.
Okay, so then she kind of, I guess the waitress says, yeah, this is for Jane the Virgin. And so Rafael hears her say, what? The what? Jane the who? And so she kind of like, that's always an uncomfortable thing to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But she kind of like tries to say it like it's really no big deal.
Yeah.
And it really is a big deal because you're pregnant. So that's a big deal that you're willing to have a baby and you haven't had anybody in your hoo-ha. Like, that's a big deal.
Even since after being engaged. And they were planning on it. And Raph did read the really dirty email.
Yeah.
Or the letter.
And I think that's great because I love when people are like, oh, Madison, you have sexy pictures. I'm like, I'm a sexual person. Like, it makes sense. Like, just because you're not having sex does not mean you're not a sexual being and a sexual person. It makes no sense.
Well,
so,
and you're just proud of your body.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a sexual person even to, be proud of your body. You know, it's like just because a girl is wearing whatever, it doesn't mean she's asking for it. It
Exactly.
Just means, in some cases she is. I'm not saying always. But sometimes she's just comfortable and,
in her skin. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so he kind of, he freaks out. I think any man would freak out if you, like, you're into this girl, you had a crush on her, was it 4 years ago, 4 years ago?
4
or 5 years ago, and now you're kind of back in touch and she's carrying your baby and you're like, oh, you're a virgin. So he's drinking scotch like it's going out of style. Mm-hmm. And
I'm surprised he didn't know at this point, with the ultrasound and why it's so weird that she was, but I guess also at the same time, she was going in for a pap smear, and like you don't typically go in for that until, but I think if anything, it's like he wasn't expecting it. He was also caught off guard, and she played it just so whatever,
nonchalantly,
and so he just wasn't expecting for that.
Yeah, but there's really no other way to play it. Yeah, there's no, like, you can't say, like, this is very serious. I'm about to have your baby and nothing's come out or gone in. So
of any kind. So understand the seriousness of the situation. Like, either you get it or you don't. And the fact that she was, he kind of made her feel a little bad, like he didn't even think. And I think in her head she was comparing Michael didn't react like this. Yeah.
But then and that's a fair comparison because her and Michael kind of had the same thing where they talked all night, they watched television, and he went to Target with her, and so he liked the things that she liked. So it was a little bit of a better connection probably before she actually told him. So.
And she also has her mom on her shoulder.
Yes.
Who she's trying to prove wrong no matter what.
That's true.
And I feel like she's just, hoping and hoping. And luckily, up to this point,
Rafael
keeps exceeding our expectations.
Yes, he does.
And he's, doing all the right things and saying all the right things. And not just to say the right things, but because he genuinely feels them.
I agree.
But, and I want to back it up. Speaking of that,
back it up.
We see Petra and Rafael at the bar. And he mentions, is this how you always were? Because that's a question that we keep asking is, has Petra always been a bitch?
You're right.
Or is this something that she developed over time? Mm-hmm. Clearly she has been. But she also jabs him saying, well, hey, listen, this is how you and I got together. I was engaged to Lachlan, and you stole me wanting to get back at him. So who's the real garbage?
Yeah. That was a
so
good
did
point.
Raph really change? Could we maybe see him not be the knight in shining armor that we're seeing?
You know what? Change is a hard thing. Like, people can say, I remember going to Africa and I went with a group of people and they were like, oh, it changed my life. But if your life doesn't really look different and you really don't respond to things differently, does your life really change? Mm-hmm. And so, but I think when you're going through something different, like cancer, like that's a potentially terminal thing for a lot of people, and it could be a very painful thing for a lot of people to go through and be a cancer survivor, because it's also going to be in your head all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that could change him.
Yeah.
And it would change someone. It's not like an external thing. It's like an internal thing
Something
that you
actually
have to,
happened to him.
that
It all
actually
changed.
happens to you. So I think that he's changed. And maybe that's just because I'm Team Roth.
I do think that I feel like everyone kind of has that click where you grow up. And unfortunately, not everyone experiences that.
That's true.
I also feel like a lot of people who are mature early on, which I feel like I was, like, a lot of people sometimes go through like a rebellious phase or like an insecure phase where you are, you know, really toxic to yourself, toxic to sometimes other people.
Right.
You're not really thinking because you're both selfish and, you know, not confident,
Right.
and you do stupid things. And it's up to you whether you snap out of it and like go back to who you were,
Right.
or become a better person, or you just keep on spiraling until you're like in full denial.
Right.
So I feel like with Raph, you know, maybe it just took him a little longer to get that
get there.
grow up click,
Right.
because he was that spoiled, entitled,
Rich
oldest
boy.
child, rich
Right.
boy, daddy's boy who got whatever he wanted, and,
Right.
you know, with a platinum gold spoon
Right.
in his mouth. Petra, though, I mean, I want to feel for her, and I just can't. I just like her,
can't.
what she wears.
Yeah,
I like her
yeah.
legs.
She has a great body.
And her eyes and her hair.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. I think Diamata, her body is great
I
too.
love her.
Yeah, we love her. Her body's
Jane's
dope.
legs. Jane's legs
Legs
this
look really
episode.
good. I was like, go ahead, Gina Jane.
Like, she was supposed to be bumping, and yet, like, I was just like, dang, girl.
Yeah,
hello.
she looks like she's
What
been
you
on the
wearing?
treadmill. Yeah,
What you doing?
And I think the heels made a difference too. I know we're totally off subject, but yes, her legs look really
People
good.
notice.
Yeah,
We comment about the guys all the time.
that's true. So why can't we comment about the women? We're not haters here.
Hello, ladies.
Okay, so we talked about, that was a good point too. Petra kind of says you and Jane will never work out. And I was like, wow, she really is manipulative. Like, she was like, you guys are from two different worlds. She's a really good girl, and you're not. Like, she's like, I wonder if she plays chess. Like, they should show her playing.
yeah.
She definitely, like, she is really crazy.
She knows how to get in your head.
She totally got in his head because he started thinking about it. So,
She learned from the best.
yeah.
That mom of
That
hers
mama
ordering the room
is
service.
crazy.
By the way, Petra is the worst kidnapper ever.
Because she is giving him lobster. Who gives
She's
it?
like the big claws.
But you know what? I think deep down inside, there's a hint of goodness in Petra. Just a hint. I used to say I felt like everybody was good at heart. I think that's from the Diary of Anne Frank. And I added that it was your actions and words that separated you from either being good or bad. So I feel like by her doing that and saving his life when she could have just let him die, because the mother
But
was
she
like,
did it to gain his trust.
Now, that's why I'm confused, because I don't know if she actually knew, because when she looked at the bracelet, it was kind of like she was surprised. Like, she was like, oh, like she didn't know. Do you think she knew?
Yeah, because on the bracelet it says
It's a
he's allergic to
peanut
peanuts.
Allergy. Okay.
Yeah. And she specifically ordered like the peanut sauce.
Oh, okay. Well,
She keeps like every single time I'm hoping that we'll see something, like she just doesn't. Like when, and I guess we can get to that now too, when Lachlan shows on
That's
the phone
what's
that he's
next.
deleting the sex tape, and she says the biggest mistake was
Leaving
breaking up with
you.
him.
Yes.
And then you see that smile over the shoulder, and it's like,
ha ha ha. Yeah, I
What?
got you. Yeah.
but he didn't delete the video, we find out.
But you know what?
So maybe they're made for each other.
They are totally made for each other. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I'm like, you get what you give, and you give what you get.
Which
you know?
makes me sad, because for a moment when she did mention the Rafael thing, I was like, maybe they are made for each other. Like maybe there is another bad side of Raf that he hasn't grown up from.
I think everybody has a good and bad side. And I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, because I'm like, I'm really nice and I'm from the South. But the other side of me, when you piss me off, is just as mean and ugly. You know, like I'm hot and I'm cold. Like I'm nice, but don't cross me, because I'm a Leo and I'm a lion.
Oh, me
and
too.
Absolutely. Hey.
Boom.
Boom for the Leos. But yeah, so I totally am like, are you that way too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're super sweet and
calm,
loyal. Me too.
Collected.
Me too.
But you can ask any of my friends of, who of us is like the most intimidating. And they'll be like, I would never mess with Giselle. And I'm not going to pull your hair. I'm not even going to yell at you.
Absolutely.
It's just...
I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
But I will cut you with my words.
Exactly.
I will. I'm very, And people are surprised. You're like, oh, that's so evil. Yes, but you crossed me and I'm nice. And don't mistake it for weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a Leo trait. Okay.
Amen to that. So, Petra and Raf and Lachlan.
Mm-hmm. Dinner, where are we at? We're talking about Lachlan.
I want to know, so you at home, we want to know if you think Petra's a good person or not. We want to know if you think Raf has actually changed. But what is Lachlan up to? Why did he save that video? Is he playing along? Does he have feelings for Petra?
Nope.
Is he going to surprise us all and actually... Did he and Raf ever have a friendship, or was it just like a...
I think it was like a business. Like he probably, like Raf during that time was probably the bad boy, party boy, and the father hired Lachlan to basically take over the hotel because Raf was too busy having a good time, and that's what he was doing. And so he was like, I need somebody responsible. Mm-hmm. And he got that job.
Oh, is it Laughlin? Have I been saying it wrong the whole time?
I have no idea. I was wondering if
you guys know what I'm talking about. Laughlin?
Yeah.
It's probably Laughlin. I don't know.
Okay.
You guys know what I mean. We'll have to.
You'll find it.
My phone's stuck.
Okay. You can't get it. But yeah, so I think they pretty much are two peas in a pod. Like, I think he kept that video because he's got something up his sleeve. He knows her. Like, he knows that she's not in love with him.
They want money. They're both in love with money.
They both want money, period. They want it for different reasons. I think men just want money because they want more power, because they want to go through the midlife crisis and then get the girl that's 21. Mm-hmm. I think that's why he wants sometimes. It happens, yeah. And I
know what I just realized? There's a contrast that we see in this episode where these two are together because they want money.
Yeah. And
then Jane and Raf are together because money doesn't matter.
Yes, because that's exactly how they set the episode up with Ziamara.
Yeah, with Abuela.
And the conversation and Abuela at the dinner table.
Yeah, sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's a good point. I love it.
It's just my profound.
I love it. That is very profound. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I have dinner with Raf and Jane. The couple sends over. Okay, we already passed that. Someone at the table, at the eggs. This. I cannot believe Rose.
Oh.
She is a piece. So she wants money too. So this is like love or money, right? That's what we could say chapter 8 is, love or money.
Although with Xiomara and Rogelio, it's the
I love
spark,
that.
which we'll talk about in a minute. But Rose
is something
I
else.
thought I liked her.
I did too. Maybe
even though she was having an affair.
Okay, you know what I think is going to happen? I totally think that somebody is going to say something about either seeing them together.
It's on camera.
It's on camera, because who said that she pulled the fire extinguisher?
Well,
who knew that?
Raf knows that.
Okay.
Raf does know that.
So hopefully Louisa will have a chance to say, remember when you saw me in the bathroom? I pulled the fire alarm because I was in the room with, yeah, because I cannot believe, like, she doesn't want to mess up her money. That's really what that is about.
Do you know what? I'm wondering, I almost want to go back and rewind. Did Rafael get the phone call before or after the intervention? Because I'm wondering if, by chance, he found out that the lawsuit was dropped, or maybe it wouldn't even matter, but maybe he wanted her to be gone. So then that way someone else could speak on her behalf and not default, or was it automatic default? I don't know. I need to give Rafael the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to think that he had something up his sleeve.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't want to tarnish that.
No,
I'm not even going to think about that scenario. Anyway.
Because I think, was he saying that she was, I thought it was the dad that was saying, well, I don't know. Because he was kind of like believing her, like, yeah, it could happen. That she could drink
That's
whatever
true.
the juice was, the crazy juice.
Oh, yeah. So we find out she went to Peru.
She went to Peru. And I went to Peru and I had no idea, but I was like 14.
So people, it's not necessarily a Peruvian thing.
Okay.
But, and Nando, maybe you've heard of this before. And maybe you at home have heard of this before, but there are places around the world where you can try different potions, drugs. It's not necessarily legal, but you try it in a closed setting. And there are people that are like leading this, you know, detoxify with
Shaman.
toxins.
That
like,
was a shaman.
kind of a thing. Like sometimes it's ecstasy. Sometimes it's, I guess what she tried was this tea.
It was a
Sometimes
tea,
it's like hallucinogens. And you're supposed to be able to have this, you know, epiphany where, you know, you're trying this drug and you see something else. And that's what she supposedly had in a sweat lodge. And she was vomiting a lot and with shamans. And
the shaman said that you were...
I've seen it on Drugs, Inc.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a documentary?
It's a series. I think it's on the Discovery Channel or something where they explore different drugs or like different trends. And sometimes people come back and they feel like different people. Sometimes they don't come back.
That doesn't sound too promising, but yeah, so I won't be trying that.
No.
Try the juice from Peru.
Good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
but she did kind of look different. She looked like she was kind of refreshed.
Hippie Louisa.
I mean, she looked like a hippie, but I'm
The
not.
spring break pictures though, or the spring break-ish pictures though, with the tequila shots and the...
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But she looked refreshed. She looked rejuvenated. She looked happy.
Clear,
She
calm,
looked clear
peaceful.
and calm. And so I was like, okay, whatever she did, it worked. And so in that process, whatever that process was, she gives Rose an ultimatum that if you don't tell my father that we're having an affair,
I will.
I will. And Rose, I cannot believe that she did that. So Rose just basically has her committed. She calls Ralph, and obviously she calls the dad and says she's saying these crazy things, these sexual things, and all those sexual things were true.
Yeah.
Petra Jr.
So of course she's going to react the way that she did.
Yes, because she's like, I can't believe you're lying. So, yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. I hope that comes out next episode.
And she's trying to save her marriage, but is she doing it because she really wants the marriage, or is she doing it because she wants the money? Is she doing it because it's easy?
Easy.
Because
she gets to live a lifestyle of a very wealthy woman.
It's true.
Yeah. She doesn't have to work. Kind of, sort of. She does stuff that she wants to do.
I want to know the story of how she married the dad.
I do too.
Were they lovers first? Were they lovers after?
I think they were lovers first. Because remember, I guess it was like the first episode, and she calls her
ex-lover.
Her ex-lover. And she says, well, yeah, maybe because they were, so
who knows?
Was
it always an affair? Were they together before that?
I would guess because she said now that you're a trophy wife. So it had to be before. I mean, I'm guessing. You guys could tell us if we're wrong, but that's what I would guess. Mm-hmm.
A lot happened on this episode.
Man, it did. I didn't expect. You know what? I saw it coming because you can't give somebody an ultimatum if they're not ready. Like, she wasn't ready. She was like, no, you can't do that. She was like,
never work, period.
They never work because she was like, you'll feel better. No, you feel better right now. And I think it was also a little bit out of spite. Like, because you don't want to be with me, guess what? You're not going to be with my dad either.
Yeah.
Neither one of us.
So basically, she has no choice. That's not even an ultimatum because it's like either, okay, let's run away together and be together, or
I'm going to tell my dad and then
tell my dad that we were together.
Yeah.
So that's no choice, which wasn't really fair, but I kind of understand.
Why she had her committed?
Well, why she wanted to be honest.
She
wanted Rose to be honest.
Yeah.
And she wanted to just finally let go of everything that had been holding her down, all the secrets that she had. But Rose chose to have her committed.
Yeah, and
in between family.
Yeah, you can't do that. But I also think you can't make somebody ready to do something when they're not ready to do it. Like, yeah. So.
I just want to understand why Rafael was fired.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll
by
come
your dad.
out.
Like, why wouldn't you? why wouldn't you talk to your son first? Why would you show up with Petra and Lachlan, and then just fire him? And why, once he explained to you what happened, wouldn't you say, okay, like, you're right, I made the wrong decision? Like, why would you? I don't get it. And how does the dad not see Petra is a terrible person?
I think part of it is that if the dad still has this image of his son being a party boy, not being responsible, and then the hotel was not doing well, so he's thinking, okay, he's messing up. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Even though he's trying, I still think in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I need to move on to.
But he also has against Petra that she was unfaithful. And he was at least faithful throughout the marriage. So, like, why isn't he pulling that? No, why doesn't he tell the dad? Or, like, why doesn't he tell everybody? Like, why is the settlement divorce thing, like, even still an issue?
Yeah, that's true, because he hasn't really brought that out, that he was sleeping with his best friend.
She was sleeping with him.
Yeah, wait.
He wasn't.
Yeah, well, oh, yeah, right. She was sleeping
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, ooh, no. Yuck. Okay. No, I don't want to even picture that. So, yeah, I think that should come out. Like, but you know what? That could show some growth in Rafael.
He wants to handle it on his own.
He wants to handle it on his own, and he also, he wants to get rid of her, and he also is like, I think it's very mature when you stop telling everybody about everything that's happening in your relationship, and really it should just be about you and the other person,
right? Because
sometimes you forgive people, and then the people that you've told all the dirt to, they still never forget.
Yeah, that's true. So, we've talked about that before, too, of how, like, you don't want to tell everyone, you know, the bad side, because what if you guys get back together? Which
exactly.
Rav and Petra got back together.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. But the same thing applies with Jane and Xiomara, where we skipped that part where after she tells him that she's a virgin, she comes home and her mom is like, so, how did it go? And she's kind of like, oh, he took it well. Good night.
Fake smile. Good night.
Yeah, fake smile. Good night. So had she said, oh, he drank 2 scotches back to back and he guzzled them down, and I compared him to Michael, and Michael took it really well, like, it would have been, in your head you could think that, and that's something that you should probably write in your journal.
Yeah. But also, I feel like in this episode we see that Xiomara's lying to herself. About her own relationship.
She is, but I think she was trying to do that to protect Jane and Rogelio's relationship. That's initially why she did it, not because she was lying. Like, she was trying to suppress the feelings, but we see the shock waves and the sparks flying.
And Rogelio set up a recording session
with
a real producer.
That was so cute. But you know what? We forgot one thing. So after Jane actually tells him that she's a virgin, we go back to the last episode where she's actually waiting for him to call, and then he shows up at the door. Like, that waiting period. Like, people say, oh, that's the great thing about relationships. Nobody likes to wait. I'm sorry. Especially women. We don't like to wait. Especially if you're a Leo and you're impatient. Nobody really likes to wait.
And we like to be in control.
That's a Leo thing. Totally. That's why you get a couple of guys and then you don't have to worry. Okay. So she texts him like, hey, let's work this out. They both knew it was a bad day. Like, you know when something's not right. So she texts him, and then she's waiting for him to reply. And then he meets the blonde at the bar. You're like, oh,
I called this one.
Yeah, you
just want to put that out
there. You so did, Giselle. I saw it coming a little bit. I'm like, no. Okay, so they're sitting at the bar. He's obviously,
don't take a drink from a stranger, people.
Absolutely.
You watch them pour the drink.
Absolutely.
You never take a drink from a stranger.
No matter how handsome he may be or how good
beautiful
looking
she may be,
never do it. Especially if you're in a big city like LA, New York, Chicago. Don't do it, ladies.
Or Vegas, especially.
Vegas, yeah. Okay, we forgot about Vegas. That's where people party all the time. Okay, so what ends up happening, he ends up in bed with her. He's naked. Wow. That's probably a lot to take clothes off of someone if they're like, I'm just thinking, I go there.
Or to even just take him up to the room.
Take him up to the room. But he probably was able to walk. She would never have been able to take him up to the room because she was super tiny.
He can be like, yeah.
He was probably just really groggy and he was like,
or maybe they put him on one of those little carts.
That's true. Okay, we're thinking too much.
A wheelchair.
We're overanalyzing. So what happens after that? She takes him to the room. He ends up in bed. She calls room service because, of course, we know that Petra had
Hired her
set this up so that Jane could see him in the bed with the call girl. So Jane is bringing up mimosas. I wonder if the manager was in on it because he was like, no, you have to do it. Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe he was tipped well.
Ah, that's why. That's probably why. Because Petra, but she probably got the money from Lachlan. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, possibly. Okay, so Jane comes up to the room and she sees Raph in bed with the blonde, beautiful girl that's
or, you know what? Raph probably checked out the room, so he knows that it's for Raph and it's his boss. So, of course, you're not going to let the boss
say no
down.
to the boss.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So Jane comes in and she's got the mimosas and she's like,
oh, snap.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I just told you that I was a virgin, so now you
never called me back.
You
never texted
called
me back.
Exactly.
The message delivered. No red receipt.
No try again. None of that. So she is freaking out, as any woman would be, because she's in love or she's falling in love, and there he is.
She's also carrying his baby.
And she's also carrying his baby, which could add a whole other emotional thing, even if you didn't have sex.
And his party boy past has been haunting her.
Yes. And the mom has been reminding her that he's a party boy, so this is not going to work. So she runs to the elevator, and they're about to. I love that she always internalizes things, and I love that about her. She's like, okay, I'm not gonna be emotional, even though she really wanted
really wants to be, and she has hormones racing like crazy.
Yeah, so she didn't go there. So, and you could see him really like trying to say like, because she was like, what happened? I don't remember, which is great. Like really, at the end of the day, honesty is always the best policy.
And he didn't even try.
And he tried. Like, he kind of, like, really, you could see that he literally, like, thought about it. He was like, I don't know what happened. Like, I have no idea. And he didn't because he was drugged. So we later find out. Because what Jane notices is that she has on...
Raph notices.
Oh, Raph notices. No.
Because Raph noticed because she was like, they're real.
Oh, yes, real. You're right. Raph noticed that she had on the Jane the Virgin
pendant
necklace for all the people at her school that like to give her hugs because they think she's a miracle. And so he notices that. But then how does she end up going to the school?
So he tells her, that's my girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
And see, here's the thing. At that moment, my mind actually went to, I wonder if she knew that Raph was the baby daddy. And so she wanted to drug him because she was hoping that he would give her a baby since he was able to give Jane a baby. But then we find out that in fact she was paid to do it, and she's actually really religious, even though she's a call girl. Total biblical reference there as well.
That is interesting.
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
And she goes to the school just saying, I'm really sorry. Like, this is what happened. I was hired. I don't know why, but like, can I hug you?
Yeah. I thought that was the sweetest because Jane actually, for a moment, I got a feeling that she kind of didn't want to. But then when she told her story, and she was like, I'm a call girl, but I am religious and I haven't seen my son. And that was a really emotional moment because you could see that Jane is so honest, and she's like, even though you told me the truth, because anybody would be mad, like you're in bed, you're pretending to do something that didn't happen, which could have potentially ruined a really great relationship. So I thought that was the sweetest. She was like, I'm not a mythical, magical
creature.
I'm
a medical mistake.
I'm a medical mistake, but can I just give you a hug?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Because she's amazing and wonderful.
Because she is amazing. I was like, that is so cute.
But even though she finds out that it wasn't Raph's fault,
Yeah.
she doesn't forgive him right away. And it's all back to business. Because she thinks that the way that he handled things, regardless, was immature and that he's used to getting,
What
his
he
way
wants,
and he doesn't want to fight for it.
And she tells him that. I think that's like a resounding theme for women, like in 2014, 2015, because that happened on Scandals. Do you remember that? Do you watch Scandals? Remember when Olivia Pope.
Yeah.
She was like, if you want me, you have to
fight for me.
You have to earn me.
Yeah, earn me. Yeah.
I was like, yes.
It's
That's
true,
what women
though.
want.
You shouldn't put up with the BS, and you shouldn't. I hate when girls are, trying to fight for the guy or try to change the guy, and no, like that's not like fight for your kids, but you need someone to be your anchor. Like it's just not. That's not how it should be.
And that's
so I'm glad that she's always so level-headed, and I think that's part of why she took this part is because she was defying the stereotype of the dumb Latina, the dumb flamboyant over-sexual Latina. She's defying the stereotype of the stupid girl, the stupid, easy, take advantage of me girl.
Right.
And she just plays it brilliantly.
Yeah.
And the writers are great because they still do, make her relatable and that you find certain things attractive and, it's the hunky guy and, she wants the fairy tale ending, the soap opera telenovela ending, but she has a good enough head on her shoulders and she's secure enough about herself that, she makes a good example.
Yeah, she does.
And makes the right decisions.
And that's interesting that you say that, like the stereotype. And I don't know, because I hear people all the time say, oh yeah, all reality shows about women, there's always that stereotype. I don't care what color you are, for Black women, for Latin women, for Asian women, there's like this overly sexual thing, especially if you have big boobs. You're going to be considered this easy person. And I don't know if that's I think that's just a fair statement for women. Because when people always say, oh yeah, Real Housewives of Atlanta make Black women look bad. I'm like, no, have you seen Mob Wives? Have you seen
all those reality shows are making women look bad?
But
The Bachelor.
But you know what? It's not making us look bad. It's just showing what we are.
Yeah.
Like if we did something different, then there would be nothing to talk about. There have been women who, like I know on, I think it was Basketball Wives, her name was Tanya, and I think she kind of refused to be a part of the mess. But she wasn't on the show because it doesn't make for good television. So, yeah. But
even if Jane's not drama, there's plenty of other drama on the show.
Yes, I totally agree. We'll get back to the show because I know somebody said that. Like, you guys didn't talk about the show. We're talking about the show.
There's so much going on.
I know it is.
I feel like more went on in this episode than like the last 2 or 3 episodes.
I totally agree. And I love
so many different storylines.
It's a lot to see. So Jane breaks it off with Raph, like, you know what, let's just focus on the baby. But you know what it is? I really think that it has a lot to do with, like, Murphy's Law. Like, you kind of want what you can't have. And so that
he certainly does.
He totally is going to want her even more because she's like, you know what, let's just forget about this baby and us being in love, and maybe we're reading too much into things, and let's just focus on the baby.
But I also feel like he does like her for the right reasons.
And I think
because initially, it's not like it was an initial attraction. It was something that built up over time. It was also something that started like 4 or 5 years ago.
Do you think it built up over time on his part and not necessarily hers?
I think both of them, because I feel like, they're getting to know each other more and more, and they're liking each other more and more, and they're not trying to either. They're surprised. Both of them, I think, are surprised by each of their actions. Like, he was surprised that she was a virgin.
Right.
He was surprised at the way that she handled what happened, and then she ends up, which I guess we can get to it now, being surprised at how Rafael never told her that his sister's shares were in the lawsuit, and she called the lawsuit off for her grandmother. And Rafael also, said, you know what, I know I reacted poorly, but I'm going to fight for my job, and I'm going to fight for you, and I understand, and we're going to do this together. Like, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
And she was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. But then you see the sparks fly when she touches his hand. I was like, oh, they're back together.
We do need to talk about Rogelio and Samira, though.
Oh, yeah, we haven't gotten there. But yes, I think, I forgot, I was going to say one thing about her knowing that Rafael she was actually suing him, and he didn't tell her. And I thought that was sweet, because it kind of takes you back to the beginning, where her mom and Abuela were talking about love over money. And I was like, oh, yes. Okay, so let's get to Xiomara and Rogelio. She's so cute. And I want them to be together. Well, even though Marco's super cute, I hope we're saying the right name, but he is super cute. Soccer player, ex-soccer player that gave up his career for his daughter. I was like, oh.
And who's so sweet and doing all the right things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there really is that spark. And I feel like a lot of girls think that spark is, like how you were saying, how you want what you can't have, and there's that desire. But I really do think that there is a spark that, you know, there's a fine line between the friend zone and the good on paper and, you know, someone that you're romantically attracted to. And I do think that there are, you know, people who do know what to look for and do know how to find the right person. And there really is, they need to have something extra. And if it's not there, you can't make it be there. It can develop, but why would you want to wait for that and meet, you know, his daughter as his girlfriend and, you know, end up being disappointed or end up wasting that time? And she doesn't have that time to waste anymore, and she's focusing on her careir.
Yeah. Xiomara, right? Yeah. I think it's harder for men, because I think men are so visual that they'll mistake the sexual chemistry for the actual chemistry, when it's really just, you just want to have sex.
Yeah. Or it's the alcohol for some people.
Or it's the alcohol too, totally. But I think women, we're better in tune to, is this really chemistry or...
Women do. Yeah. Girls, not so much.
Not so much. No, I totally agree. Like what you said, the on paper, because I've been in situations and I'm like, oh yeah, he looks good on paper, but there's no chemistry whatsoever. We don't have great conversation. We don't like talking to each other. I'm like, why are you wasting my time? Let's not waste each other's time. Time is precious. Time is precious.
And the guy who she does have a spark with is right in front of her, and she just doesn't know what to do with those feelings, and it's undeniably there. Rogelio is trying so hard to make up for what he did wrong and try to find what's important to her and what.
And he did at the end. I thought that was so cute that he said, or she tried to get a little angry because she didn't know that he actually set up the producer. She thought the producer actually called her out the blue, and he set that up. And he was like, is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
And then when he actually heard the song at the end, I think they touched hands, and she realized, you know what, this is where I'm supposed to be, and the fact that he did that for her. But she tried to play it off like, no,
it wasn't you.
It wasn't because of you.
And they're both smiling
really big.
Smiles.
Yeah, they're so cute together. They would be cute in real life, couple. I don't know if they're single, but who knows? Maybe. Yeah. So predictions for next week, the season finale.
And now. You're AFTERBUZZ.
I like that face. It's like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. And I am wearing the Santa sweater.
You are.
I don't even remember what we saw in the last credits, but it is the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to leave us hanging with something. Well, we didn't even talk about Sin Rostro. That guy who came out of the box. Like, what? I don't even know what that was about.
You know what
And I don't know if we're going to figure it out, but I still think that her mom is Sin Rostro.
I would think that too. I totally think that. And the fact that he was at the hotel, like maybe he was delivering something for her. Yeah, I totally think she's Sin Rostro.
Or maybe there's like a wall connecting the two rooms that he went through.
And that's why he didn't see him leave. You're probably
to go pick up the hostages and drop off the money.
Oh, you're right. Ooh, that's good. Giselle, you're smart.
We'll see. I'm a little disappointed that Michael didn't have some more love scenes because clearly there's sexual tension there. Unless it was like a hit it and quit it, but
I think it was like a hit it and quit it because I didn't see any kind of like sexual. But he did kind of say, "Let's just focus on getting this done. This is the biggest thing of our careers." But if you're like really sexually attracted to somebody, it's undeniable. And I didn't really get that from them. I just got. We work together. We spend time together.
I want to try to get her on the show. By the way, let us know who you want to see on the show from the cast because a lot of them actually do watch our show, which is really cool. Our narrator reached out to me on Twitter.
I know, that's so
and he was like, Giselle Ugarti.
Ugarti.
You guys make me laugh, and I want to come out there when I'm in LA. So let us know who you want to see. We can reach out, tweet them, let them know that you watch the show. But that's my biggest prediction, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that good things keep happening for Jane and Rafael.
Yeah, my prediction, I don't know.
Petra and Lachlan, though, something.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like probably later season 2 that we're going to find out because he's holding on to that. Or the next half of the season. Yeah, the next half of the season because he's holding on to that video for a reason. But I don't really care about them. I just care about Jane and Rafael.
What do you think's going to happen next week?
I think they're going to have to leave us hanging with their relationship probably not working. So we'll want to see more of them getting together. That's what I think. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I think that's what's going to happen. And I hope that on the next show that Rose will actually be revealed to be a liar.
I hope also that Xiomara and Rogelio kiss.
Get together in front of Jane. Like, I think that would make Jane happy. Like, she would be happy because she's trying to avoid Rogelio, but I think if she sees her mom, like, embracing him, it might be a little bit different. And the fact that he's your father, then it shouldn't be too
It's kind of funny. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Baby daddies, baby mamas.
Baby daddies, baby mamas. All right, so that's so social media handles, MadisonChaseFitness.com, Mad1Chase, or Madison. If you just Google on Pinterest, YouTube, what else do I have?
Instagram,
Facebook,
Twitter.
Madison Chase Fitness, Twitter.
You'll find her.
Yeah, you'll find me. That's where I am.
You can find me at Giselle Ugarti on most social media platforms on Facebook, Giselle Ugarti Official. Also, make sure you're listening to my show every week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Dash Radio, the app. Madison might be joining us in a couple weeks. It'll be really, really fun. Good music to get you pumped up, good tips for the week. And we will see you next week. Hopefully I'll be wearing something.
We're going to wear something festive.
Fun.
We're going to find that dress. We need to find the stylist from the show because she's great too.
Maybe we'll have her come in.
Yeah, she's really incredible.
Thanks for watching, you guys.
Thank you guys, AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.